I have a right to see the radar?
Yeah, why do you have all of that?
How fast is too fast?
Did you know what to do when he stopped you?
Do I have to answer where I'm coming from?
How do I get out of a ticket?
Why do the other cruisers come in for backup?
We don't know who's in that car, right? It is safety.
During a traffic stop, do you have your body camera on?
Yes. So when I pull someone over, I'll flip a switch to turn the lights on, the flashing lights, and the body camera and the dash camera will automatically come on.
So now when you're walking up to the car, why do you touch the back of the car?
One, to see if the trunk was popped. And that way, if you feel it, you quickly shut it. The other thing is, you put your fingerprints on the car.
Oh, really?
Have you had to use your taser before?
I have had to use my taser before, and it was not on a traffic stop.
That's good to know.
What do you do if you pull somebody over for texting and driving and they say, oh no, it was GPS?
Well, I can't determine if you were texting, if you were sending an email, if you were playing a video game. The phone's in your hand. It's supposed to be hands-free.
Does everyone have their own spot in the forest that they pick out?
When we do traffic enforcement, we don't just say, oh, I'm gonna go on this random road and run some radar or whatever it may be. Usually we do traffic enforcement based on specific complaints made by people in the public.
I feel like I see more officers pulling people over at the end of the month. Is that just because of a quota or something you guys have to fill, or?
I think that's definitely a stigma because there aren't any, we don't have any quotas. Oftentimes where you might see us at a specific time or time of the month, that maybe that shift has that many more officers to be able to conduct some speed enforcement or traffic enforcement.
Yeah, why do you have all of that? I see the body cam, and I know you have the gun and the taser and the walkie, but it looks like you have two walkies?
So I have the mic comes around, and this is what I actually speak into. And yes, I have my body camera, handcuffs. I have a tourniquet. So if somebody was to get injured in an extremity, we can tie a tourniquet to help slow blood flow. So yes, so medical supplies. So when I come walking up to you looking very scary, it's just because I have 20 extra pounds me that I'm dragging around.
When I get pulled over and I'm not doing, to my understanding, I'm not doing anything wrong until I'm told of a bogus, this is the reason why I'm pulling you over, or a legitimate reason.
We have to have a legitimate reason to pull you over.
Yeah, of course.
An enforceable reason. For anything other than a reason, a valid traffic violation reason. And if anything is done outside of that scope, then it's illegal.
How fast is too fast when you see a sign that says speed limit 45?
So at the end of the day, it's going to be the officer's discretion. But it also can depend on other things like the weather conditions, right? So if it's snowing and icy out, even maybe 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, which doesn't seem generally like a lot, but it could be too fast for those conditions.
You don't really have to worry about the first time because the first time is always a warning unless you do something really, really bad.
Unfortunately, that's false. It's ultimately up to that officer that stopped you on the enforcement action that they want to take with you at that time.
Now, where you can contest that, if you get issued an infraction, you can plead not guilty on the backside of it, and what happens is you'll get a court date and you'll be able to discuss the matters of how it's determined and things of that nature.
If I get pulled over, do I have to talk to the officer?
What you do have to do is you have to provide the officer with your driver's license, and registration, and proof of insurance. You're being able to speak to the officer as long as you can hear what that officer is trying to say to you. That should suffice. However, cooperation from the public and for the individual being pulled over, it just makes the stop go easier for everyone that's involved.
If I get pulled over, can I record the interaction on my cell phone?
Yeah, absolutely. And really, unless you're obstructing somehow, say the officer's trying to handcuff you and they can't because you're holding your phone, that's different. But if you're just getting pulled over, you can definitely record the interaction on a phone. You know, that's a First Amendment right for you to do.
How do you feel when people take out their phones and they start recording you back?
On a traffic stop, for instance, I'm trying to have a conversation with you. I'm trying to get your license, your registration, and if you're more focused on filming me, it makes the interaction much more difficult.
So why would you want to record an interaction with a police officer while you're on a traffic stop, or after you got pulled over? Why would you want to record that?
If there's an issue, or if I feel like it was not, or if I was not treated well, or it didn't go the way that I would want it to go.
Yeah.
Obviously I don't want to get a ticket, but if there was like some sort of complaint that I wanted to make.
Do I have a right to see the radar as a driver?
You don't, and oftentimes it's it's more of a safety issue. For example, if you're on the side of the road or you're at like on a highway somewhere.
Do I have to answer where I'm coming from?
So if an officer pulls you over and asks you where you come from, no, you don't have to answer that question. There's really not a lot that you have to say to a police officer when you get pulled over, no matter what they ask you. The only thing that you are required to do by law is if you are pulled over for a traffic violation, you have to provide your license, registration, and proof of insurance.
My stomach drops and I'm like, oh my God, what did I do?
I didn't realize that I was going that fast, or I had done like something wrong, or that I was in trouble.
Sometimes I feel like I'm the prey and you guys are the predator.
I felt like scum of the earth. I felt like everybody was watching me.
Immediate fear is always, I'm just gonna get arrested.
I ended up crying afterwards because I was really stressed out.
Obviously was very uncomfortable. Just worried about what's going on behind you.
How is this interaction gonna go?
When you guys pull over somebody in the community, you don't know what's gonna happen.
Do you know that we feel the same way?
It is a nerve-wracking experience for us as well.
The stop itself, it's very unknown.
Even as I'm walking up to the car, like I still don't know who is in the car.
Every single time I do stop somebody, I am nervous.
You're hyper-focused. It is one of the most dangerous things the encounters that we make.
I call it the healthy nervousness, if you'd like. If I don't have that, then chances are I could potentially get hurt, and I don't want to get hurt.
To enforce laws, and by enforcing some of those traffic laws will help us reduce crashes.
It's safety.
Yeah.
Even though I know we stop for stop signs or headlights or anything, it all comes down to safety.
The way that the interaction goes is really based on the willingness to have an open conversation between officer and driver.
Exactly.